Hello, everybody, and welcome to the OGRL Coffee Cup, ready for round number 20. We are 5 rounds away from the end of our season, and the next round here is at Barcelona before we get to the end of the calendar on the 9th of March. We are, as I say, well and truly into the swing of the season now, and closing in on those last few moments. Last time out at Watkins Glen, a very interesting race, creates a very interesting situation overall as well, because the season's winding down, as I say, and the championship margins are getting closer. We'll talk about that in a second with myself, Ian O'Leary, and James Parfitt alongside me again for another round. It's Barcelona. We've gone old school, although I still frown whenever I see that this is called the historic layout circa 95. Realistically, they use this layout in real life these days as well.
I don't like this circuit. It's bad for overtaking. We've seen races here that have just been boring. I'm hoping this isn't going to be that way. I've never really been a fan of Barcelona. The only good thing about this one, they got rid of that janky chicane at the end of the lap. There is no chicane. It is straight round without it. So I'm pleased about that. But other than that, I don't know. I'm not a fan. Ewan, I'm not a fan. Are you a fan of this one?
It's okay. Not really. To be honest with you, no. It is difficult. I mean, I think we're still going to actually get a good race here in this series. I mean, I can't think of a circuit where we haven't really ever since I've started covering it anyway. So that is a given. However, this circuit often is a little bit tricky. I must admit that I do like it a lot more in this current layout. I was initially, especially at the sort of widening of turn 10, if you like, I used to think that's going to take away a real overtaking chance. It hasn't really, actually. And the final two corners are a lot more committed, high-speed corners. They're a lot more fun. So the final sector is a lot better, but overtaking is not a lot easier. So we're still going to get a good race here this afternoon, but this circuit, historically and indeed in the modern day, it is tricky in GT3s, especially if you've watched real-life GT3 racing around here. It can be very, very difficult to overtake. Yeah,
and that's the thing. I don't know. I'm going to see how this one pans out, okay? I'm going to leave it. It's one of them. You know when we go to Sebring, and you love Sebring, don't you? There you go.
Yeah, famously.
Yeah, that answers that question. And you turn around and go, I don't like the track, but the racing's been good. Well, that's what I'm hoping for today. I don't like the track, but I'm hoping that the racing's good. So let's see what we get of it.
Yeah, I mean, one of the best races I covered towards the end of last year was at Sebring, so you know these things can happen.
See? There you go, miracles work.
Yep, miracles do happen. Who's going to be out first then? It looks like Jason Iverson to me, who's going to cross the line first. They've just made their way out for qualifying right now. We'll go through the championship standings in warm up. Why not? Because we've got a bit to watch at the moment. 15 minutes of qualifying. Each driver gets 3 laps effectively to set their time and get themselves onto the board. And it's very exciting indeed, because some of the drivers wait until the very end of the session, like Alfie Nichols and Bradley Lovings, and they provide the entertainment late on. I'm glad we've got this sort of unspoken agreement between the drivers, because it means we've got someone and something to watch throughout the entire quarter of an hour.
Yeah, it does, and I think that's what is going to make it exciting. And I think for the likes of Lovings and Alfie Nichols, who do go out late, they kind of wait to. I think they sit and wait and see what everybody else is doing. Then they kind of know what they've got to do, I think. That's the only thing I can think of, because is it track evolution? Well, not really, because they're solo, so they're not going to really get the benefits of it. Is it track temp, maybe? Is it the fact that the temperature's drop? I don't know why they do it. But you are right, it gives us a set to watch for 15 minutes, because otherwise qualifying will be boring. Captain Gummers is in YouTube chat. Hansen doesn't like it either, he says. Well, there we go.
Right. I'm imagining we're not going to be alone on that, to be honest.
No.
That's Adam Hansen, by the way, who's in, for those who don't know, who's in the Pro-Am class here this afternoon. Over the line for Jason Iverson. He's set the benchmark for everybody else. He's in the Pro class, and he's in the Acura as well. Although it's not going to last for very long. Alan Purser goes up towards the top with a 44.6 in the not Lexus BMW. David Van Roy then goes up towards the top in the Mustang. Now, this happened last week. Van Roy was fastest in the first round of times at Watkins Glen. And he just sort of held on. Unfortunately, in that safety car restart, he got knocked back a little bit at Watkins Glen after that safety car restart, and then never really recovered from that and eventually disconnected and DNF'd. So hopefully he has a better day today.
Yeah, I think there's. I'm going to take these. I've seen these times go lower. Okay, so I'm not going to take these times. I think over the next couple of laps, that's really when I'm going to probably look and think, oh, actually, these could be the times. I think there's more in these. I think there's more in these cars on time. So I think that these times are going to drop again.
Yeah, I suspect so, but I can't imagine it's going to take very long for these tyres to warm up. We'll see. Joshua Herring now comes over the line. Here he is in the Porsche. Can he go up towards the top? Maybe. It's going to be close. And it is second. Oh, that's very close. Wow. 16 thousandths of a second off of David Van Roy. That is a very good time from Joshua Herring and very close indeed to pole. And out the final corner comes one of the Corvettes now over the line. Hayden Young also in the final couple of corners at the moment, by the way, in the Porsche. He's coming through to set his first lap time of the day. There he is. Didn't really show himself too well at Watkins Glen, but we know he can produce a result or two over the line for Young, and he goes up to the top 5 to 4th place initially. So the first round of times. Now Jason Iverson will set off the second round. You see what I mean? It's going to be pretty relentless from start to finish in this session. Sean Riley's gone fastest in the middle sector, but slower again in the final one. Did he go anywhere? Yes, 3rd place he gets up to here in this session. Joey Maines is currently leading the AM Championship by 15 points over JT Sawyer, and he's now making his way up towards the line as well. That's not going to be particularly representative for him. I think that's going to be last. It is, no, it's not quite last, but it is a bit further down in the field in 16th place. He's got an important race coming up today, as has Sawyer, of course. They're only 2 positions apart at the moment.
Yeah, and I think there's other people involved in this at the same time. I think in the Pro-Ams, we've got Bradley Tidwell and Rich Modric is involved. Quinton Price is sat here in 4th, Barry Acker in 3rd. Herrings, Lovins and Merriam up at the pro standings. So we're going to be looking out to see how these guys get on. And I think this track could produce to the point where we may sit back and think, oh, actually, you might have a chance, as Richard Wedstead that goes over the line at the same time at the moment and goes into 4th. So a few more times coming in.
Newfound pro driver, Richard Wedstead, of course, after being a Pro-Am towards the end of last season. You will notice, by the way, that some drivers don't have categories again, to be confirmed. Bradley Loving's telling us that everyone, after the crash last week, was a bit all over the place, as you would be. And so it's pretty difficult to judge how the to-be-confirmed class drivers did last week, as Hayden Young sets the fastest time, 43.9, and he goes to the top. So just to give you the names of those drivers who don't have a class so far: Kyle Sirrett, who is currently in 10th place overall, right in amongst it at the moment. Further down the field, Tyson Pankow as well is not confirmed yet, although he's invalidated his first lap time. He's currently on his second. Mark Ossier and Chris Slane were both in the race last week, but as I say, have not been given a class after last week yet, because it was such a crazy day.
It definitely was. We've been asked what the track temps are. We're 54 degrees at the moment. 54 degrees centigrade out on track, and at 2:30 in the afternoon. We've got a drop week for Ryan Merriam. He's not here. Morning, gents. Drop week for me this week. Visiting Stoke family. Is that right?
Some family?
Some family. Oh, maybe. I don't know. Seems a bit
typo.
Yeah, Michael Dio drop week for him as well. So a couple of people taking drop weeks this week, which will obviously go onto their scores, onto the representatives on that one. So, yeah. Craig Jones in YouTube chat, actually. Good morning, Craig, who's sat at home today. And, oh, Big Jim Cunningham. Good morning, gentlemen. Good morning to you there as well. 130 degrees Fahrenheit. Kind of toasty. I would probably say it's quite, yeah, it is very hot at this moment in time.
Yeah, did I read that track right? 54 degrees on the track, did it say? Or was it 34? I couldn't quite make it out.
54.
54, goodness me. This is some of the hottest temperatures I've seen for quite a long time. We are, by the way, not racing in the real life day, which probably explains it. It's the middle of July at just about 2:15. So this is going to be hot, I suppose. And the track
54.
temperature absolutely roasting Sean Riley has gone fastest of anyone in the first sector. Can he just back that up with a good finish here? As Hayden Young's finished his times, 43.9 is going to be the one to beat, and Riley only does a 44.1 after a good first sector. He can't go any quicker. Richard Wedstead is the only driver now inside the top 8 or 9 who have not completed their 3 laps yet, and he's only half a tenth off of pole here, Wedstead. So this is going to be an important lap for him to try and get onto that pole.
Yeah, he's only got a few more corners to go as well as Richard Wedstead in that pole. Oh, nope, that's going to go wrong because he's gone in too deep. So that's going to put the end to that one.
End of that. Indeed, yeah. That's a shame for him. Although, to be fair to him, he wasn't going any quicker in the first 2 sectors anyway, so I don't think it would have counted anyway.
Yeah, so unfortunately, not good. Chase Allgray is out on track, as is the man himself, Mr. Bradley Lovins and Alfie Nichols. And it looks like Brad's going to come over the line first as well. Yikes, going to be slippery, says Ryan Marriott. I do agree with you. The question will be tyre changes. Do you think then, as we are going to be like dry roasted, do we think they're going to make tyre swaps?
It's entirely possible, even if it is just left sides, because you might be able to do that in the time it takes to fuel up, put that little bit of fuel in that you need to get home. This is Lovings over the line, first time round. Where does he go initially in the order? Only 23rd, and he's slowing down as well. So he's going for 1 fast lap at the start, a cool down lap for the second, and then a fast one for the third. Let's see what Alfie Nichols does, though, because he's coming through to set his first time of the session. Over the line, he's going to go right now, and he's going to move up to... Oh, now he does. There he goes to the top. My goodness me. 43.7 on his first lap out the gate. Nichols is already at the top of the standings. This Ferrari is flying, and it looks like he's going to take pole for this one.
Ferrari on pole. That's words I wouldn't have heard for a good while, even in IRL racing. But Lovins is now going to have to try and put the foot in. Chase Allgray has got an improvement on the time at the moment. He's sitting down in 38. He's on the run down into turn number 10 actually. So Chase is improving, but Lovings no improvement over sector 1. I think they need to pit early, take 4. Ooh, I don't know about taking 4. 2 maybe.
Oh yeah, but the problem with 2 is it going to unbalance your car too much? I don't know the answer to that. I'm just floating ideas out, to be honest with you. We'll see, but the track temperature certainly does make it very interesting. And, you know, because a lot of racing actually, and even in iRacing, happens on the real live date, it's been quite a while since we've had really high temperatures. I mean, it's been a very long time since I've covered any racing with high temperatures, and I imagine it's the same for some of these drivers in terms of racing with high temperatures. Chase Allgray goes over the line 37th. Adam Hansen's going all right at the moment, but this is not going to be any quicker for Lovings. He's setting himself up for one more go here in a couple of moments' time. Hansen's about 10 seconds further down the road as, Lovings does go a bit quicker, excuse me. He does go to 16th place, but he's got one more to go. This is a great livery on Adam Hansen's Ford Mustang, the Roxy. Well, it's normally a Porsche. That's going to take some habit to get out of. It is a Mustang instead, and he goes up to 13th place, I believe, in this session.
Yeah, that's not a bad time for somebody who doesn't like the track, apparently. So there we go. I've just had an interesting message from my boy who is sat in 19th. He says he's going to be Ayrton Senna 2.0 today. Apparently.
That might not be a good sign.
I know. That's what I said to him. That's exactly what I said to him. I said, dude, settle down. You have time. So George there turning around telling me he's going to be Ayrton Senna 2.0. Now, I don't know if that's Ayrton Senna, the actual I'm going to complete the race by miles and win, or Ayrton Senna, I'm going to take Prost out at Suzuka. So who knows?
Oh yeah, I'm going to go for a gap that's not there because I'm a racing driver or whatever the quote is. Anyway, Bradley Lovings is going quicker again in the first sector. I really thought he was doing a cool-down lap for the second one there, but it seemed that he was going at full speed. He's still struggling, though, and it's not a Porsche thing, clearly, because Hayden Young and Richard Wedstead are in second and third at the moment. Lovings just not quite getting up to speed on this circuit yet. Herrin got up to 6th place in qualifying, so Lovings needs a big performance here after losing a lot of points at Watkins Glen. It doesn't look like he's maximising that exit there, and I don't think this is going to be any sort of improvement for Bradley Lovings. He's coming into pit lane. Lovings starts 17th. It's a bad start to the final part of this season for the previous championship leader.
Yeah, all the way, and he's in the mix now with Pro-Ams and AMs. It's going to be messy. So, yeah, Bradley Lovins, maybe he's just not got it. Who knows?
That's very interesting. Very, very interesting. I mean, it's going to be so interesting as well to see how he bounces back anyway, no matter what the circuit is. After last week, Lovings was smashed into by, I think it was Michael Dion, wasn't it? After he made a mistake on the way up the hill through Watkins Glen. Sorry, Michael, if you're still watching. It was a big, big crash. We've all seen it, I'm sure. And unfortunately, it took out Bradley Lovings and lost him his championship lead. I'm so interested to see how he bounces back this time around.
Yeah, I am as well, but unfortunately he's all the way down in 17th. He's going to spend the most of this race trying to chase things through. I think that's it. He's going to be chasing his tail to try and move up. Michael Dion, what crash in YouTube chat? I don't know, Michael, maybe the 32 car crash that you caused that went out on TikTok's Instagram, Facebook and JPBroadcasting X channel. So maybe that one. That's possibly the one that we're talking about, that the world has gone and seen, Michael, as you cause chaos at Watkins Glen. So there we go. Go, Alfie. Don't forget, you still need to empty the dishwasher, says Mum.
He'll do it later. He's busy. He's on pole for this race, of course, 43.9, the best time, and it's set by Alfie Nichols once again. We're into warm-up, so let's have a chat about the championship standings. We already have touched on them, but let's talk about them properly. In the pro standings, Josh Herring is the new leader after Bradley Lovings had a terrible time at Watkins Glen, and so is now 6 points behind. Ryan Merriam is only 77 points behind, and with this amount of season to go, it's not out of the question he can get involved, but it's almost impossible, because even if Lovings and Herring even just get top 15s for the remainder of the season, he's not going to catch them. So it's looking like a two-horse race, but we knew that, really. Cole Modric is in fourth place, just ahead of Jeremy Chaney. That'll be a battle for fourth place throughout the season, I would have thought. They're only 5 points apart. In Pro-Am, Bradley Tidwell got pegged back a little bit last week, with Richard Modric now only 6 points behind. Barry Acker also a similar gap back to him. Then Quentin Price, Brian Dukowski rounding out the Pro-Am top 5. And in the AMs, Joey Mines is leading by 15 points ahead of JT Sawyer. Heath Hollinger is not out of this yet either, 31 behind going into this round. Mike Elliott and Gary Spencer round out the top 5, though. Gary Spencer hasn't raced for a long time, unfortunately. He was leader of the championship for quite a while. He's dropping away now, and it's between Mains and Sawyer and maybe Heath Hollinger as well. Going to be interesting to find out what happens in all three classes. The great thing is all three are still very much up for grabs. But we are getting to that stage in the season now where you kind of know what position you have to finish in for the remainder of the season to win the title. I mean, if Joey Mains finishes within 3 places of JT Sawyer in each of the rounds remaining, he's won the championship. So, these are the kind of calculations that these drivers are already able to do, because we're only 5 rounds from home now.
Yeah, we are. We're near the end. And the thing is, we've been going for so long. Let's not forget, we're 20 weeks in to this season. And the fact that we've still got 3 championships up for grabs 20 weeks in is great. Some championships don't even go down 12 weeks. We're 20 weeks and we've still got 3 going. That is really, really impressive.
Yep. I mean, I did a championship towards the end of last year with 7 rounds, and there wasn't a championship fight at the end. Yeah. So, you're right. It's a very very good thing indeed. But the thing that has helped is that we have these sort of sub-seasons. In case you're not been with us so far, we effectively have had 4 6-race seasons, if you like, with some weeks off here and there. But you're right, we started in the middle of July back at Belle Isle. Doesn't feel like that long ago, to be honest, but it certainly was. Then we had a week off for the Spa 24 Hours, and then we went through another 5 weeks. Then effectively we've been doing 6 weeks in a row with 2 weeks in between the seasons, if you like, other than some other intermissions for Thanksgiving and of course the Christmas break as well, which ended up being a month break because we had the Rolex 24 at Daytona, both in the iRacing platform and in the real world, and so it ended up being about a month off until we returned last week, and we certainly returned with an interesting race, that's for sure, at Watkins Glen. But the thing that helps is that throughout every part of these sub-seasons, you get one drop week per 6 races. So that just helps to keep things a little bit closer. And it also means that you don't have to be there for every single race, because 24 weeks across 7 months or so is quite a commitment, really.
Yeah, I think that's the thing. You've got a long series, and we're asking drivers to commit to 24 races. It's always going to be tough. Drop weeks are going to be imperative. I do like Curtis Matthews. Hey, JP and Ewan. He's better. Watching from New Orleans today. I'm not able to race today for OGRL, as I'm going to be celebrating and tailgating for the Super Bowl. Good luck today, everyone. Go Eagles. So does that mean, Curtis, you're actually watching the Super Bowl live in the stadium today?
Yeah, I want to know whether that means he's in the stadium as well. Yeah, that's or whether he's just in a car park.
Yeah, I know. Maybe he's just driving around his local Morrison's or Walmart or something. I don't really know.
I know that tailgating in America is not the same as in the UK. So that's something to note. But is he actually at the game or not?
I don't know. We're going to have to wait for an imperative decision to come out, aren't we? We're anxiously sat here, Curtis.
Yeah.
That means he's not there for Tanzo later either.
Yeah.
No.
He's not at the stadium.
Oh, man. Where are you then, Curtis? You've just dashed us. Tickets are over $3,000.
Just in the car park, I'm saying.
Yeah, he's just driving around. I don't know. He's on the motorway. Going backwards and forwards. Who knows what he's doing?
He's on the motorway, just following people too closely.
Yeah, he's following people to the stadium, wishing it was him.
That's a bit creepy. Anyway, never mind. Yeah, I'm sure it's a good trip. He must be from near Philadelphia somewhere or so. Oh dear, tickets are over $3,000. Dear me,
Yeah,
game's gone. Anyway,
Gone nuts.
yes, it has. Yeah.
Why have I got images of
reason.
Curtis following people to the stadium and then driving back following other people? Oh, dearie me.
Yes.
Yeah,
well, either way, I hope you enjoy the trip, and I hope you enjoy the race as well, because warm-up is over and it is time for us to get underway. This is the grid with Alfie Nichols on the front and Hayden Young alongside. It is Richard Wedgstead and Sean Riley who share row 2, ahead of David Van Roy, and Joshua Herring, the new championship leader, starts in 6th place. Brad Tidwell, championship leader and pole sitter in Pro-Am, is 7th, ahead of Carl Surratt, who hasn't got a class yet. That's why he's in purple. Jonathan Williams and Philip de la Cruz ran out the top 10, with Alan Purser and Brian Dukowski sharing row 6. 13th place has gone to Adam Hansen in the Mustang, ahead of Billy Backer, with Brett Basil and Jeremy Cheney next. Basil pole in AMS, by the way. Bradley Lovings is down in 17th, ahead of Quentin Price. George Parfitt and William Bailey rounding out the top 20, with Barry Acker and Jason Iverson on row 11. Cody Bont and Perno Hanno leading, or indeed in 12th, I should say. 25th place is Jeff Sepulveda, ahead of Simon Belts, with Nicholas Marshall, one of the many British drivers these days, ahead of Joey Mains, championship leader in the AMS. Preston Hathaway and Rick Modric round out the top 30, with Heath Oranger just 3 points behind his main championship rival in the AMS. Tyson Pankow is next, ahead of Jim Sawyer, who is also chasing Mains from 5 positions behind. John Gardner is 34th, ahead of Cameron Risley and Mike Elliott. Chris Slane, Greg Hargrave, Scott Carson with the last driver set a time. Mark Long and Mark Ossier will start from the back, having not set times. Kyle Surratt has decided to start from pit lane, so he's not got a class, and he's qualified inside the top 10, but instead of starting from the top 10, he's going to start from pit lane. So we'll watch out for him, picking his way through the field over the course of the afternoon. Well, it is almost time to go again. Another round of the OGRL Coffee Cup here for 2025, as it is now, just 5 rounds from home, here starting at Barcelona after a very messy start to Watkins Glen. What are we going to get this time round, as one of the only safety cars we've ever seen in the OGRL Coffee Cup got brought out? Hopefully we're not going to see another one here this afternoon, as Alfie Nichols brings them round the final corner into the start zone, ready to go. Sean Riley already looking at the inside of Hayden Youngers. Already there's some stack-ups in the background, people trying to jump the start. There's going to be a big crash in the middle there, surely somewhere, as the lights finally go out. And some of them were not ready for that at all. Some of them were almost too ready. Sean Riley's already going through the middle, steaming through the middle of the Porsches, looking for the lead here maybe, as they just lift off, and be careful with one another here. It's almost 4 wide there in the middle of the pack. They're going to get through here. I'm amazed they managed to get away there without making contact on the start finish line. Some people were trying to jump the start and kind of guess when the start was going to be and all sorts, but in the end we got away with it. Alfie Nichols has held on to his lead, and Sean Riley's got up to 2nd place.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure how they managed some of this. They were 3-4 wide at some points. They managed to get through, and I do mean, unfortunately that looks...
Haney.
Oh mate, that has caused drama.
Oh no. Oh, that is a big one down here. The big tyre. They'll get going again, but I think it was Cheney who was initially going around in the Corvette. We'll have a look at lap 1 replays when things settle down in a few moments' time. But goodness me, this is busy. Yeah, it was Jeremy Cheney who's in the middle here in the blue Corvette. That's George Parfitt right on the inside in the red Audi. That was 3 cars into turn 4. Didn't quite fit.
No, and what's worse is he went behind the tower, which was a little bit more. I do wonder whether or not he's turned in or they're both alongside. Ooh. Possible that he turned in, yeah, but then it caused a mass drama behind. But Alfie Nichols still leading the way for lap number 1. And we'll see what goes on after this once it all settles down. Tidwell, Lovings, and Ballybacker have all been in their own little ta-ta-tas. So unfortunately, it looks like some people are having a little bit of dramatics here today. And there is Tidwell there, Backer's behind, and Lovings is behind that. So that's the next 1, 2, 3. Tidwell checks up.
Oh. What a palaver that is, dear, oh dear. And hopefully there's not much damage there, but that was a concertina effect for you. Into the pit lane after lap 1 has come William Bailey. So I wonder whether he was one of those who got caught up with all of that. Not sure, but either way, we've got a new Pro-Am leader, and Jonathan Williams is his name. It's 8th place for the driver of the BMW. There he is. Tidwell is still going at least, which is all right. He just needs to have a good final 5 rounds or so, and he'll be the Pro-Am champion. Doesn't need to get involved in anything too silly. It looks like that damage is only cosmetic at the moment.
Yeah, he's got no rear bumper. We can see right up his skirt there, unfortunately, for Bradley Tidwell. So there we go. But Adam Hansen in front, sitting behind him at the moment. So good, nice little run from Adam. That's not going to help. Tidwell having a little bit of break in. But yeah, great action so far. Lots of battles still taking shape. Brett Basil at the moment has got the red Audi of George tucked in behind him. George went in a little bit hot. That's going to bring Cody Boddy alongside at the moment. These guys battling for 2nd place in the AMS. George sweeps around the outside, manages to hold on to that position. So that's one little fight going on. We've got Nick Marshall, Barry Acker and Billy Backer having a go. Cody Bod's just about to send it up the inside. Is he going to get that stopped? He does. So he sent it through there. So that's the first, second and third in AMS. But Nichols out in front by half a second.
Yep, he's doing well so far. He's just trying to gently pull the strings and gently stretch the elastic now, trying to get away from Sean Riley in 2nd place. And there's a new fastest lap of the day, 43.6 over the line for him. And Wedstead has now lost the draft, so the elastic certainly is being stretched. And unfortunately the Porsches there are not able to quite stay with it. Tidwell versus Hansen down in towards turn 1. Hansen's coming through here on the outside line. Tidwell very much being careful, because I told you about his championship situation. That will certainly be in the back of his mind as he loses 2nd place in Pro-Am.
Are slowly going down the order. So yeah, lots of things happening at the moment.
And just in the bottom of the shot there, that was Carl Surratt getting down the inside of John Gardner for 28. So Surratt decided to start from pit lane. Show everyone what he can do in terms of moving through the field after he got a good qualifying, and now he is moving through into the top 30 of this race, which is good news for him. But we're certainly going to start to settle in here. First 5 minutes gone, and there's just Robbie off the road. Contact with Cody Bond there by the looks of things in the Porsche, and that is going to spoil the AM battle as Brett Basil gets further away. Parfitt effectively trying to do what Bond did to him a lap or so ago. Now then, where does the contact come here?
Oh, bro. I know he's my boy.
Like he was
turned in on.
Yeah.
I know he's my boy, but Cody Bond there, he did turn in on him. He's right next to the curb, and then he starts rotating his Porsche, comes across the track and hooks him round. So
actually looked like he lost the rear grip on the tyres actually there, Cody Bond. From what I could see from off board, it looked like he just spun them up a little bit Of course, traction control doesn't, as I say all the time, doesn't save you from everything. But yeah, that's a shame for George Parfitt, who's now down to 27th and has got work to do to come back through the field again. Where has Joey Mains got to? He's up to 18th. He's had a great start in AM just while we're down here. This is great news for him because he's championship leader and he's stretching out the margin by, at the moment, 8 points to Heath Hollinger, who's 26th, and by 5 to JT Sawyer, who's only 23rd. This is a great start from the championship leader, 18th place.
Yeah, he's doing really well. He's got Bill Backer in behind, Barry Acker, Marshall and Pernell Hanley. So big puff of smoke from a couple of cars in behind that. You can see there, that was Barry Acker and Pernell Hanley going off and spitting dirt up again. But again, they've got to be careful of that dirt now as well, because we're talking about hot temperatures, we're talking about slippery cars, and we're also talking about particles that are going to be flying on the track if they keep bringing this in. So again, something else they've got to be aware of that could cause a problem. They've got to make sure that they can literally deal with the hot tyres and also the particles from the gravel and everything else that's going to appear on track.
It was very wide indeed from... Was that Sawyer in the background? He was one of the Acuras anyway, going very wide. It's Marshall versus Sawyer for 22nd at the moment. Two of the Acuras in the field. And there you are in this one group. So Sawyer is in the same group as Joey Mains at least, which is positive for him as he needs to start gaining some points again. As I mentioned before, Mains just needs to be 3 positions or less behind him in every race now, and at the moment he's 5 positions ahead. This is one long group though, right the way down here to Carl Surratt, who's now on the back of this group, and it's to be confirmed in a class as of right now, but he's having a great race. He's cruised up to the back of these guys.
Yeah, he has, and he's going to start looking, I'm going to presume, making his way forward, but the problem is all of these guys are battling out in front, including these two with Heath Hollinger there. Tyson Pankow is in front at the same time. You've got JT, you've got Nick Marshall, Hanley, Acker. So there's a lot of gains here for Surratt, but he's got to make sure whatever he does cleanly, because there's lots of people in front of him battling away. So they're going to have to make sure that gets done. Now the top half, the reason we haven't really been at the top half is they're kind of separating a little bit with gaps above a second at the moment. Jonathan Williams leading the Pro-Ams is probably the one in the closest battle, and he's got Alan Purser in the not BMW Lexus in behind him. So we're going to really, the focus is coming down from 16th downwards, where we do start getting that queue of cars.
Yep, there we go. This is side by side between Backer and Hathaway. Backer was involved in that real nose to tail concertina down towards this corner earlier on, of course, and now he's up to 17th place, so he's making progress here again. Been away from this championship for a little while actually. As further down, George Parfitt gets past Heath Hollinger, who's back to 26th now, so that's not good news for Hollinger at all. 7 positions behind Joey Mains. If he wants to be involved in this championship battle towards late on, then he needs to stop finishing ahead of him. He's 31 points behind Joey Mains coming into this race.
Yeah, but unfortunately there's a lot of positions between him and Joey. Joey's all the way up the road. There he is, just a Porsche going out of your picture. So unfortunately for Heath Hollinger, there's Joey there in the 057. Behind that is Hollinger, but he's quite a few seconds back at this moment in time. I think it's almost 4 or 5 seconds. So Hollinger's just going to come through the top of part of your picture now in the orange and white. So he's got some moves, he's got some time to try and make up. Westhead, however, has got Hayden Young tucked up right behind him. Hayden managed to just avoid the incident last week at Watkins Glen. There's a lot still going on here.
Yeah, he had a good round again. He did Westhead at Watkins Glen. He's had a good return to the season, to the series, I should say, after being a Pro-Am driver last season, and he's moved himself up to Pro now through some fantastic race results, and indeed I think pole position last week from memory. He was up there again in the qualifying session this afternoon as well, but he's under pressure for best placed Porsche in this race at the moment from Hayden Young. This is pretty close between these two at the moment. It just doesn't look like they quite have the speed of Alfie Nichols and Sean Riley at the moment. I'm not sure whether this is Westhead in the way of Hayden Young, and maybe he could go with those two, but Westhead certainly can't.
Yeah, no, I think Young's got to make a decision. If he is going to be quicker, he needs to then decide whether or not he's going to try and pass Westhead. I think that's the thing. Westhead, is he going to be a cork in the bottle? 44.65, 44.61. So Young was quicker. The problem for Young is Ben Roy is coming in that big looming Garrett Mustang behind him. but Ben Roy's on his way as well. So Young doesn't really want to get caught in with Ben Roy, but he knows at the moment that he's either going to make a decision to pass Westhead when he can, dive, do something amazing, or he's got to sit back and just hope that Ben Roy doesn't get there. Does look like Mark Young's had a bit of it. Mark Long, he's had 2 moments with Brian Dudkowski's been off the track as well.
That's further down outside the top 20. They're now both outside the top 30. By the looks of things, Dudkowski's been a long way back for a pro driver, unfortunately, in the early part of this race. So that's added to his woes by the looks of things. So plenty still going on out on the circuit, other than this battle for third place. Cody Pont has been caught by Quentin Price, 14th place overall. Here is that group. Just behind them, Jeff Sebelveda under pressure from Backett. And Young got down the inside of Wedstead, did he there? How's he managed that? Well, that's a strange place to overtake. In towards the right-hander at the top of the hill there at turn 9. Do not see that very often.
It is a mistake. He tightened it up. Westhead tightened it up. He lost the exit speed, and through goes Young. But that, you say that's not a normal place, right? But so many times people can make overtakes there. You get the entrance wrong, you're all out of line like they have, and Young has capitalised on that and has gone through. So play to Young, taking the opportunity. He had to do it. Now, is he going to pull away is the question we've got to ask ourselves. Is he going to be able to get away? That's something I'm looking forward to.
That's an impressive place to make a move, because it was barely a mistake from Wedstead. He didn't get a lot wrong, but Young went flying past him. That was very impressive indeed into turn 9. As I say, you do not see that very often. The side-by-side has allowed David Van Rooij to catch up now in 5th place, so he's very much involved in this battle. And there he is on the outside line. Wasn't expecting it to be quite that quick, but there you go. Round the outside he goes. That's too far wide though, and Wedstead hangs on, but he's certainly a bit of a sitting duck at the moment.
Yeah, he is at the moment. He seems to be going backwards, but I do wonder whether or not the Porsche is struggling with the fact that we're still roasting. We are still at 43 degrees centigrade. It's still quite a hot track. So I do wonder whether or not the Porsche being very dependent is struggling a little bit here.
Yeah, I wonder as well. It's a good 10 degrees cooler though, isn't it, than qualifying, which is pretty strange. It is 5:15 in the evening though, I suppose, so that would explain quite a lot, though it doesn't really look like it at the moment. We are in July, and so daylight will be around for another 5 hours, I would suspect, at this stage, but we're not going to be racing for that long, so we will not be racing in the dark, that's for sure. That's very close. Ben Roy getting up the rear end of Richard Wedstead, who's struggling here. You can see that he's looking in his mirrors. He's concerned about a Ben Roy overtake, and it's looking inevitable now in places. He's wide again there, out of the hairpin of turn 12. He has a look down the inside, Ben Roy, but he can't do it there.
The injury, I just picked up, Ryan Merriam said exactly what I was thinking there. The Mustang just eats the curbs. Do you know what this reminds me of? I don't know if you remember this advert. You probably won't. It's the red car and the blue car had a race. All the red car wanted to do was stuff his face. That was literally shaped like a Mustang and a BMW. Van Rooij's now gone through on Richard Wedstead, and through he goes. But that reminds me of that. The BMW and this Mustang just eat curbs as if they're snacks laid out on the road. You know, it's just unbelievable the amount of curbing that this Mustang can take. And if you don't know that advert, I'll send it to you.
Unsurprisingly, I do not know what you're talking about.
Oh, you never do. We are literally at complete ends of the generation spectrum.
That's not quite true.
It is quite true. I've watched Die Hard, you don't even know what it is. I've watched Ghostbusters, and you don't know who they are. So, you know, at the end of the day, we're in a different situation, aren't we, Mr. O'Leary?
No, let's clear one thing. I do know what it is. I just haven't seen it. That's a big difference. Meanwhile, this battle for 20th place is on, and it's Joey Mains again who's the one struggling. I wonder whether this is a Porsche thing, because although Hayden Young's not suffering with it, so I don't know what's going on at the moment, but Joey Mains is certainly struggling. He's got Pernod Hannock right behind him, Nicholas Marshall. It's just a second back to George Parfitt, who's catching, with Carl Surratt, who's passing everybody, and JT Sawyer as well, who might well try and look to finish ahead of Mains, and he's going to have to if he wants to be involved in the championship. This is strange though. Some of these drivers really struggling at the moment, and I wonder whether it relates to whether they'll be taking any tyres later or not. That was off the road though. That was Pernod Hannock who's got that wrong through turn 9.
Yeah, I can tell you now. Let me give you a rough idea. George has just done a 45.7. okay? People in front of him that are in completely different classes. Joey Mains, obviously, is in his class, but now Hanalet is, Barry Acker, 46.3, nearly a second slower. Joey Mains, 47.33, nearly 2 seconds slower. George is in the Audi, they're in Porsches. I'm just trying to give you a perspective of what that is. Billy Backer's just had a moment.
He has. That's the penultimate corner. Oh my word, that's a strange place to have a slide.
Hold it.
And oh no, he's not going to quite catch it there. And he spins up the rear tyres. He's going to need some new tyres a little bit later on. They are going to be far, far too warm. The weather conditions are changing around loads, aren't they? iRacing can't quite decide what the weather conditions should be at the moment. Looks like it's clouding over a little bit more. Some drivers will be hoping that cools the temperatures a little bit more, but it's not working just for the moment. Mains then promoted to 19th place, but then all of these drivers have been promoted one place, so it doesn't really matter in that sense. Nicholas Marshall, again, close to Hanno. This is a strange Pro-Am battle in the middle of a load of AMs.
Yeah, and it's just put 1.7 seconds out of the guys in front of him, which is just unbelievable over one lap. He is, given his due, he's going a lot quicker than some of the guys in front of him at the moment. Him and Sirra are literally 45.27, 45.01, 47, 46, 46, 46 as it goes up the order. So both of them are literally looming over these guys. Preston Hathaway, 5th in Pro-Am with Barry Acker tucked up right behind him.
Yeah, Barry Acker trying to get involved in the Pro-Am Championship as well, of course, with a good result. He's not quite going to manage it. They're very close in that 4 behind. There he goes. Yeah, I thought there was going to be a move. It was initially... who was having a look there down the inside? One of the Mustangs. There's been an accident, I'm afraid, down there. Parfitt, Hanno got into contact. There was all sorts going on down there. I think it's Carl Sirrett right behind them, isn't it? He was trying to have a look. So he's trying to have a look. Parfitt's trying to have a look as well. He's broke too late, and he's got straight into the side of Pernod Hanno there. Well, silly unfortunately, boy. The first incident wasn't his fault, but that one, I'm afraid, was.
Yeah, silly boy. Never listens to Dad. And Dad says, just chill.
So it's easier said than done, to be fair. So there we go. On board with Sean Riley, second place, and Ed Young will be catching up to it. So everybody else's Porsche seeming really struggling, but Young's only getting quicker here at the moment. He's caught up to Riley. I'm not sure anyone's going to catch Nichols, but anyway, even catching Sean Riley up here is pretty impressive from Young, who's now looking for a move maybe to go up into second place and return effectively to where he qualified after Sean Riley made such a good start on that front straight.
Yeah, it just seems like Young, as you said, for some reason that no other Porsche driver seems to be managing at the moment, seems to just be getting quicker in a time when everybody else is getting slower, which is quite a surprise. So, yeah, I don't know, maybe Hayden Young's a little bit of a tyre whisperer.
I don't know at the moment. Or whether he's pushing on so hard that he's going to be taking tyres earlier on, I don't know. We'll see about that. We've still got 36 minutes to go, by the way, so halfway is nearly 10 minutes away still, because this race is 55 minutes in length, so just under an hour, but it is not long from halfway. So normally we see them running the tanks dry, but I wonder whether we're going to see people splitting the race in half so that they can sort of get an even level of wear on their two tyre sets over the course of the race.
Yeah, we'll have to see. Do you reckon they are going to go for tyres then?
I do not know, to be honest. I really don't know. We'll have to, and we're going to have to watch the pit stops actually with our own eyes, because we're not going to be able to tell in the pit stop time. Obviously, they take tyres at the same time they take fuel, so we're going to have to watch them with our eyes and see whether they go up on the jacks or not. We'll have to do it the old-fashioned way.
Yeah, we're going to have to, I think, on that one. Young looks like he's going to climb all over Riley. Riley really not making his way, being able to escape. Basil has made his way through past Tidwell. Tidwell now seems to be going, he is caught up. I don't know if he's caught up, or I think he has gone the other way. I think he did go backwards. But now Basil there with Tidwell fighting it out. We've got Philippe Dela Cruz. He's just going up the inside of Joey Mains. Let's not forget, Philippe, I think last week at Watkins, lost his bumper twice, if I remember correctly.
He was driving around with not many body parts on.
Yeah, that's
for
what I
quite
thought.
a long time. Yeah, he certainly was. That was quite close to Hathaway just up in front here. Joey Mains, as you say, just in behind them. Sawyer now only 3 positions behind Joey Mans, who's been really losing time and places in these last few moments, but JT Sawyer is a good 8 seconds or so behind him. Carl Surratt is closing back up to these guys as well after getting past that big group involving Pernod Hanno and George Parfitt and the rest of them. Side by side, meanwhile, this is going to help as Stella Cruz gets around the outside of halfway. You'd imagine he'll make this move at some point, but will it be here, round the outside, down the bottom of the hill at turn 10? He certainly will. The way he's stuck up on the inside line, we'll just hook into line. Joey Mans will be next, and then Surratt will be, I'd imagine, trying to overtake all three of them in a couple of moments' time.
Yeah, if you can get through there, you can see Surratt just literally been picking them off one by one at the moment. And he's literally started moving his way forward. We'll have to see what class he gets put into. JT has got Marshall, Pankow and Heath Ollinger in behind him.
Oh, oh dear, oh dear. I wish they'd get rid of that curve when we do this layout, because that's very dangerous. Anyway, it was Pankow who went over the curb itself in the Mustang, and now look at this, the two Acuras of Sawyer and Marshall pretty close to each other on the way down towards turn one. Look at the power of the Mustang there. You can see it in the rearview mirror. It's Marshall who's moving it over to defend, and he will be successful on that occasion, just ahead of Pankow. Then Heath Ollinger, who's just on the back of them, so he stays single file towards turn one, but the Mustang had a lot of speed there. Surprised he didn't go for it. Maybe now he will through turn three. No, he's not going to run there either. Yeah.
The Mustang is quick in a straight line. We know this. It's got some big gruffing behind it, you know, and that's the thing for Pankow there. He's got a lot of speed under his foot. He's just got to learn when to deliver it and when to put it onto the track so he can make his way forward. Personally, I think if he can get close enough coming out the last couple of corners, he'll be able to make the run down into turn one.
We will see as they make their way now towards or out of turn number 8. Wiper on for some reason. I think it's going to rain, but anyway, just wiping away some of the dirt as Tidwell gets past Kenton Price there, does he? Or was that just people stay in the same place? Don't know, but he did. Okay, up to 12th place. All sorts of moving going on back with Surratt past halfway again. As Tidwell just blinks there for a second. 32 minutes to go, and still none of the leaders have come in to make any sort of scheduled pit stop yet.
Yeah, nobody. I wouldn't expect anybody to be in. The only one that's been in is Carl Surratt, but then again, he started in pit lane, so they could be picking him up. And as you say that, Philippe de la Cruz has gone cruising down the pit lane. So there we go. Josh Herring is at Westhead, and Westhead does not seem to be doing well at the moment.
No, he is struggling. And that's Herring up into the top 5 in this race now. Defensive on the way down the hill. And he will consolidate that position, extending his championship lead at the moment by 4 points over Bradley Lovings. That will bring it out to 10. But what a great end to the season we are going to have here between these two. Herring versus Lovings in the championship fight. Really kicked off by last week's crash at Watkins Glen, and Bradley Lovings finishing 1 lap down on the rest. Yeah,
which is quite a shock, isn't it? We have never seen Mr. Lovings 1 lap down, unfortunately, but we did last week. He has moved his way up. He's up 8 positions. And is got ahead of Adam Hansen, and they're both chasing down Alan Purser in front. Sorry, got his name mixed up there.
Nearly 10 seconds up in front, so it's not looking likely. It looks like he's been in a bit of contact with Lovings here. Front right looks a little bit dinged to me. Maybe he was in. I think he was in that nose to tail thing down at turn 10, wasn't he, on lap 1? So that might be the answer to that. Marshall and Pankow have both been dropping down the field further down, by the way, outside the top 20 in these last couple of moments. So not sure what's quite happened to them, but they've both been dropping down as Bradley Lovings comes in to make his pit stop, and this might really kick things off amongst the leaders.
Yeah, this is Nick Marshall doing something to himself. Whoa, is he coming on the track? Oh no, he held it. Well done. And then Tyson, I've got a funny feeling. No, where did Tyson go off? I think
it was earlier.
Yeah, it was
earlier. He was running higher than this. Oh dear, this has got all the looks of a bit of contact, hasn't it? In towards turn 4. Oh no, he was avoiding contact. That's where he went off.
Yeah, avoided the contact, and then ended up Lovings in pit lane. So first of them here, Young and Riley still going.
Still can't find his way through here, Young. Now that Lovings has come in, maybe it is time to go for an early stop here. The problem always is, are you going to come out in traffic? The answer to that is probably yes. If you're one of these two drivers, you need to wait for the midfield to come into pit lane in numbers first. But either way, Young now is surely going to be trying to find his way through on Sean Riley now. It is time to try and do something a little bit different here. He's not managed to do it on the circuit yet. It's time to try something. 29 minutes to go. We're about a lap away from halfway, maybe 2. So is it time? No, not yet. Still staying out. Obviously doesn't want the traffic. You can understand not wanting to pit early and end up in loads of traffic.
Yeah, you want to give it as much time as you can here. Due to the fact that obviously the cars that are out on the racetrack, you do want to try and let them spread out a little bit. There isn't really materialisation of gaps at this moment in time. You know, you can got 38 on the track map that you might be able to slot in, but other than that, you really don't want to get caught in all of them people coming around that final corner. So you've got to pick and choose where you're going. Sirrett and Mains, Sirrett's just made his way up another position. But this is just cool, calm driving from Kyle Sirrett. This isn't anything crazy. This is just picking them off, you know, chilling out, moving his way forward. And others can learn from that.
Absolutely, yeah. It's very calm and collected at the moment. Very methodical. The way he's picked his way through the field so far. Quite a big gap behind them, by the way, on the circuit. Anyway, right behind Bakker. Got about 10 seconds back to Richard Modric, who's again losing points to Paddy Tidwell here. It's closing in on a Pro-Am Championship at the end of the season. Of course, we'll be live for the next 4 weeks in a row. As in 4 weeks' time, we will be at the Nürburgring Combined there, and we'll be crowning our champion as well. It's one of the few seasons where we've actually gone 6 weeks back to back. We didn't manage it last season, for example, so we've got it this time round. We'll be live same time, same place, with all of the rounds between now and then. Now then, what has gone on? What has gone on here? Sean Riley and Hayden Young have made contact. Josh Herring's coming through the middle. Richard Wedgstead as well. So this was down at turn 11, or turn 12. That's turn 11. This is turn 12. Young looks down the inside, makes contact, and he gives the position back again to Riley. That's why they're both losing places.
Yeah, but the others have already gone straight through the middle. Straight through. There goes Westhead. There goes Herring. And both of these are now down the order. To be fair, if I was these, where the incident happened, I would have dived in pit lane. I would have gone in pit lane and got fuel and tyres.
I would have, certainly if I was Riley, I would have, yeah, because you've just had a spin around. Look at the big adjustments he's having to make on the wheel at the moment. That car is not quite as planted to the ground as you'd hope the BMW to be. Sliding a little bit through turn 3. The tyres will be warm here. I would have been in there as well, but again, he doesn't want to be in traffic. So Herring's up into the podium places now, and that is a long way ahead of Lovings at the moment, because of course Lovings has made a pit stop. But this is good news again for the championship leader, who's moving on up once again.
Yeah, making his way forward at the moment, isn't he, here, which is great to see. So we'll keep an eye and see how he gets on. But I think there's still going to be action in this race. As we said, we normally look at it and think, is there going to be enough? Do we think this is going to be, is there going to be an action? And there is action. And Josh Herring sitting in front, he's got Riley in behind, Westhead, Young. And of course, the only two people that he needs behind him, one of them's not here. And Bradley Lovins is down the order, isn't he? Because he's been in pit lane. He's all the way down in 25th. So for Josh Herring at the moment, sitting pretty.
It's going well. And because Riley is ahead of the others, he's going to get a bit of breathing space here over the next couple of laps as well, as Riley gets himself back up to speed again. 25 minutes to go. And since we're well past halfway now, or getting past halfway, I reckon we're not going to be able to see many tyre changes. But Hayden Young is deciding to come in. Now, this is pretty evenly split now. I don't see why in that case he didn't come in last lap, but anyway, that's besides the point. Let's watch here and see if he comes up on the jacks or not. Are we going to see tyre changes or not? This is going to be awkward. Has the Acura just got out in front? Yes, indeed it has. So the track temperature's coming down. It's high 30s now. Are these guys going to get away with it without changing tyres? Are they going to do a couple? Up onto the jacks he does go. So at least a couple of tyres are going to be taken here. But as I mentioned before, you can get 2 in while the fuel's going in anyway. Is he going to take all 4 though? That would mean that will push the pit stop time just over 20 or so. He's not going to. I reckon he took 2 there, probably left sides, and now he's back on his way again. Yeah,
I've got to agree. It was a 14-second stop. I don't think there was 4 taking place on that one. Riley and Westhead were going side by side at one point. They've now settled back down Wested still in behind Riley. Bradley Tidwell, third in the Pro-Ams at the moment. He's got Quinton Price, who's fourth in behind him. Tidwell, of course, leading the championship. Price is a good 146 points off. I'm going to say anything's possible, but that might not be. But we'll have to see how he gets on here.
It's all order, isn't it? Yeah, absolutely. So, let's see. Loving's down in 21st position in the field. Young in 15th as things stand, just ahead of Jay Mains as we run. Now, do any of the leaders respond here? Herring, Riley, Wedstead are all coming through the penultimate corner right now. They're actually coming up on lap traffic here. So whether they pit in or not, they're still going to be in traffic. Do any of them come in? David Van Roy carries on, and these three carry on as well. Suggests to me maybe that they won't take tyres, but because this track temperature is certainly coming down now.
Yeah, it's dropping down a little bit as we go on into the night, which is great. So hopefully we'll keep coming down. Kyle Sirrett again has got Barry Acker and Cody Bonte in front of him. So Kyle just going to be looking to pick them off there.
See if he can do. Sirrett's been having a fantastic race after starting from the pit lane. Cody Bont comes in. That will be an easy overtake for these two. Ariaka is going to be under a lot of pressure there. That's a nicer line from Sirrett, who is right in the slipstream now of the Porsche, and surely going to be making his way through. Down on the inside, here he goes. Later on the brakes. In fact, Ariaka's going to let him have that one, I would have thought, on the outside line. Not going to fight this too hard. Well, Sirrett up to 12th place. Oh, probably over the curb there. That was a bit awkward, but he'll get 12th place, and Acker will come back at him here. Well, this battle will go on for a bit longer then. In that case, Mustang roars around the outside and will take the position, but yeah, what a race. That's nearly 30 places gained now.
Yeah, he's done a really great job. Currently, Kyle Sirrett with Barry Acker tucked in behind. GM doesn't look like Lovins took tyres. Lovins was 17 seconds. He was 3 seconds slower than Hayden Young. So I think maybe there were some tyres there that could possibly explain an all four, to be honest, around about that 17 to 20 mark.
I think that's a bit short for four. I definitely think he's taken some, but you know we didn't see it, so I don't know. Into the inside for Acker. No, he's only having a half look there, and Hayden Young's going to be closing very quickly now on the both of them as a result of all this. Battling costs you a lot of time around this circuit, and so Young's catching up, and he'll be out near Herring here because Josh Herring's coming into pit lane. Now, does he go up on the jacks maybe and take some tyres as well here? Josh Herring, the championship leader, the series points leader in the pro standings, ahead of Lovings today, looking to extend his lead again here. Pulls up to his box now, hits his marks nicely, stays on the ground, no tyres there for the championship leader.
No, definitely doesn't look like there's going to be. There's a few others coming behind him, Hanson, Basil and Tidwell. They're all in around him. Where is Hayden Young coming down that start-finish line? Herron's on his way out. This could be a deep run into turn number one. Herron, oh, he's actually probably going to, oh, yes, he did lose it, but not by a lot, though. That's
not by loads, but he has been jumped fairly convincingly there. So, Young through, and he could be in a podium place here at the end of this cycle in that case, because Herring was ahead of Wedstead but behind Riley. I would say if you put Riley about a second ahead of Herring here, as they were, you know, you're still getting behind Young. So I think Hayden Young will be in third place at the end of this.
Yeah, it could possibly be. But he has managed to jump Josh. Is he going to, do you think? I think it's going to be more Venroy Riley. I don't think they're going to catch Alfie, who's just, man, he's just off for days, isn't he? You know what I mean? He's there for ages. He's going to pick up his mum and stick her in the car and go for a drive. And he still can run in and do the dishwasher at the same time.
Yeah, I was going to say, could go and do the dishwasher and still come out in the lead. Side by side, that was quite close between Young and Sirrett here. Now, this is an interesting battle. Sirrett's been very quick at coming through the field, but I'm not sure we've seen him be overtaken yet. Hayden Young certainly has been making the moves, and he's now making his way down the inside. This is one you've got to be careful of down at turn 10. Careful of washing out wide as well. Sirrett's going to fight this. He's absolutely showing that he's here to stay and he's not here to just roll over. Inside line here through the turn 12, and he shuts the door. Wow, that's a big fight there between those two, and that's a big statement Carl Sirrett in the Mustang as well. Hayden Young will be saying, what the hell's the point of this? But Sirrett is absolutely making a battle of this as Riley's into the pit lane. This is an important lap for here for Hayden Young, and he's already coming out there in the BMW. Where's Riley? He's just on his way now, out of the pit box, out of the lane, and Young is going to get through. Yes, he will. He's still not through on the Mustang just yet, and Riley's behind Herring as well, by the way.
Yeah, Riley lost out there. Herron's in front of him. There is Herron there, just up the road. Young's a little bit further. Young, of course, is having trouble with Sirrett. Sirrett doesn't have to roll over. He doesn't have to let him go through. It is just a pure fight for position. So Young's got to work it here. Does look like loads of other people are going into pit lane. Quinton Price is coming out on the pit exit at the moment. He's going to go lose a place to Tidwell. Tidwell is going to go through. Quinton Price is tucked in behind him. A few others coming out as well. Sepulveda looks like he's just had a moment and unfortunately has crashed the car.
He's been in the battle for a long time today, Sepulveda. Where's he going to get to? Oh dear. Slides his way through the penultimate corner and into what's actually turned into quite a bit of handy runoff for everybody these days. Didn't used to be there, but now it is because of that chicane, and so there you go. Into the pit lane for David Van Rooij. He should be ahead of Young here, but Young's been so quick on these outlaps here that he might well be in a bit of trouble. Just up ahead of them there, one of the Corvettes in the lower part of the order. I think it's Mike Elliott in the Corvette just up in front. It is indeed.
Oh!
And he's spinning round. Oh! Wow! Sirrett just about avoids him. Do they all manage to get through there? Herring goes wide and goes round the other way, and Riley's going to get down the inside of him. Oh, it's cost the points leader there. A spin from a lapped driver has cost the championship leader a point or two here as David Van Rooij's making his way out the pit lane. He'll be on the rejoin in a moment here with Hayden Young. Have a look at this from Mike Elliott, just goes for a spin on his own. They all just about avoid him on the inside. It was pretty dangerous, to be honest. It was very close.
Oh.
They just about got through. Herring decided, I don't want to go down that gap. It could close. And in the end, he goes wide. Van Rooij's out, and he's comfortably in second place.
Yeah, he's ahead. He's ahead by 4 seconds at the moment. Herron's got Riley again in front of him. Sirrett is now in pit lane. That's released Hayden Young. Bill Backer's in. Heath Hollinger's in pit lane at the same time. Hollinger lost that place to Basil. Is he going to lose it to Cameron Risley at the moment? It's possible that might here. Hold on, I'm just trying to see. No, Risley peels into the pit, so yeah, he's managed to survive. But Joey Main's still out on the racetrack at the moment. Goes past Hollinger.
Yes, these two are. Yeah, okay, yeah, that's how it was before. Alfie Nichols comes into pit lane then. I think he's last to come in actually. Of everybody, yeah, he is.
Yep.
So not only has he been faster than everybody, but also more economical. 16 minutes to go, and he will now be in to make his stop. As long as he hasn't spared into pit lane or on the way out, he's going to be comfortably in the lead here. What a drive it has been again from Alfie Nichols. It remains to be seen, and makes you wonder what would have happened if he'd have been with us for the whole season.
Yeah, it makes you wonder as well. He probably could have taken tyres and still got hacked as a safety net.
Yeah, that's true, but didn't want to take any risks, I suppose. I mean, his lead is not massive.
It's over 11
quite
seconds. I think it's big enough, don't you think?
It might just have been big enough, but it would have been quite close. And then you don't want to get yourself drawn into a battle, because that can go wrong. So, yeah, I think he's probably right to not take tyres there and just be on the safe side. I think on that occasion, actually, the safe side is to not take tyres, which is quite rare. Meanwhile, Cody Bont, Jeremy Cheney, Joey Mains battle away for 18th position. Mains is, or has been, dropping down quite regularly throughout this race, but JT Sawyer's down in 30th now. So not a good race for him, and Heath Hollinger's 28th. This is going to turn out to be a good day again by the looks of things for Joey Mains.
Yeah, he is. He's going to make his way forward. Hollinger's further down the order. So he's moved up another position. He's got Cody Bonty now in front of his situation. Keaton's in pit lane. Appleway is in behind that as well, but this leading battle here for the second and third is going on. What have we done this time?
Here we go, in towards turn 4. It's quite early and just spins around again. I suspect those tyres are probably quite warm now,
Yep.
so it probably doesn't take very much for that car to go around anymore. So there you go, that was the result down here at turn number 4. Well, in towards turn 5 for these two again. So this is one of those two car battles. There's actually no battles inside the top 10 at the moment. I can't remember the last time that happened.
When we had that big old Shit Watkins and then everybody went spreading out across the field.
Well, I'm not counting the safety car.
No, but they were fairly spread out, weren't they? If I remember correctly. After that,
I don't think it's quite like this actually.
No, but it's Catalunya.
Well, fair enough. That's not going to argue. Battle for 15th between Bakker De La Cruz that goes on, and actually Philip De La Cruz gets through into turn 12. So, and they're still side by side actually through these corners, and through goes De La Cruz. Does he? No. Not. What? Where's he in the background? They're in the background somewhere. Over there. There they are. Oh, they're still side by side. And Sirat is just going to gain on both of them as a result of this. Side by side between them. He's just going to go through the middle. He caught up loads of time because of their side by side. And now he's just going to take both their positions, and he just pulls right in front of Bakker there in towards turn number 1. Outside line here, and well, he's not quite going to get through. De La Cruz slips through on the inside and holds on at least, and maybe Bakker wants his position back again as well. He's not quite going to get it though. Sirat up to 16th place.
Done a great job. Makes you wonder if he actually started on the grid, where would he be?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Where would he have been? There we go. If some whats, some buts, and maybes, as always.
I think he qualified around here in the field actually. Qualified in top 10 actually. Yeah, 8th place, excuse me. So yeah, absolutely would have been a top 10 if he'd stayed there. And yeah, he'll certainly be put up towards one of the top 2 classes, I would have thought, when it's confirmed. Obviously not going to speculate too much about where he might be put, because that's up to the computers and the admins and the combination of the two. But we will, and we'll see when we get there. But he's certainly a good driver. There's no doubt about that. Now looking to the outside of De La Cruz in towards turn 10. Round the outside he will go, and he's going to look for the inside at 12. He's going to get his nose cut off here, is he? No, he's going to go down the very small gap down the inside there. He's going to make it through. Bakker straight back down the inside of De La Cruz, who loses 2 places.
De La Cruz, he left that late. He had so much of a defence he could have made. He's gone into pit lane again. That's the second time for Philippe De La Cruz there. But he left that defence very, very late there. He could have defended that a lot earlier, and he chose not to. But Acker with Sirat now, and Bill Bakker is chasing them down. Brian Dukowski is one we haven't seen lots of today. He's chasing down Panel Hanley.
Here he is. Oh, that's a bit wide from Hanno, and Dukowski going to go straight through here. He's actually recovering from issues earlier on. Brian Dukowski, he was outside the top 30 at one stage, and so he's probably expected to race through some of these positions down here in the final 10 minutes or so. And the inside will go up into 22nd in the field, so yeah, he moves up. Incident limit, by the way, 17 incident points over the course of this race. I wonder whether De La Cruz had that problem there, because I didn't see him stop, I don't think. No, he didn't.
Did he not?
No, he didn't stop. No, I think that was a drive-through. 17 incident points before you get a drive-through. There is no disqualification limit, by the way, so it has to be a drive-through penalty if you do reach the incident limit, and I suspect he might have done that.
Yeah, I think so. That's a very quick 17x, isn't it, really?
Well, there's a lot of places you can tip a wheel off into the gravel around here, and he's been in that battle with Bakker for a while. That might have been a 4x or 2, so that racks them up quite quickly.
Yeah, I suppose. One man that's not doing rather well this week, Modric. He is up 4 places, but he hasn't really gained massively.
Not really. He's been sat there in the mid-pack and losing some of those points to Bradley Tidwell, unfortunately for him today. As Hanno gets back onto the back of William Bailey here in a Pro-Am battle for 23rd. Dukowski has cleared them both, and he's still, actually this is Hanno who's just lost a place to Bailey, isn't it? He's dropping backwards at the moment in the field, and was now to 24th. Yeah, I thought he had.
Yeah, he has. He's lost a place, unfortunately. Closest battles on track, believe it or not, is all the way down in 27th, and Tyson Pankow with Mark Long. That's further back in 31st and 32nd. People in pit lane. Nothing really happening inside the top 20, unfortunately. But Rick Modric has got Heath Ollinger in behind him.
Yeah, Ollinger trying to reduce the damage that Joey Mains is doing to him today, although Mains has disappeared from the tower. That's because he's up to 17th. He's having a bit of a resurgence late on now. And so he's really gaining points on Ollinger. 10 points currently being gained on Ollinger and 13 on Sawyer. This is a big, big day for Joey Mains in the championship as Rick Modric continues to try and hold back Heath Ollinger in towards turn 4 and successfully does. Fastest lap of the race so far, by the way, just comes in for Hayden Young on those new tyres, chasing down David Van Rooij quite nicely.
Yeah, he has. What's Chris Slane has done something here. Oh, another nice little livery with teeth.
Very popular with teeth these days. There's the spin for Chris Slane. He is just going to bonk himself into the wall just to more to get out of the way of everybody, I think. He's gone back to pit lane. That might be him done for the day, joining the other retirements of Jason Iverson, George Parfitt, Great, and Chris Slane, maybe joining them. That's 4 drivers out of 41 retiring from this race, which is a pretty good low rate of attrition.
Oh yeah, clearly George chose out the centre and crashed into Preston Suzuki.
Indeed. Meanwhile, Carl Sirott looking down the inside here, in towards turn 1 on Pariaka, excuse me. Quentin Price is just watching on from behind, and there's Sirott down the inside into 13th place. What a great drive he has done. Leaves a lot of space there through turn 2. Keeps in the inside for turn 3 though, and he will move on up. What a fantastic day he is having. Acker then closed in on by Price, and Bill Backer's just in behind them as well here, having looked down the inside. That's surely going to be a move here. Tim Price moved down a position. Acker moves up into 15th, and again he's recovering as well after his battle with La Cruz earlier on. So nice pass from him. A couple of positional changes inside the top 15 for the first time in a little while.
Yeah, Wedstead has now got Purser. I'd like to pick up Kyle Sirrott's best lap time, 44. Oh, Wedstead just got that wrong. Purser's going to go through. So there you go. Alan Purser moves himself up into the top 6. Kyle Sirrott's best time, 44.18. It's quicker than most of the people in front of him, apart from Wedstead, Riley, Young, Van Rooij and Nichols. So at the moment, Sirrott's best time will put him in 6th if he just started off the grid.
Exactly, yeah. It's a very, very good performance indeed. Wedstead here, I think, is really, really struggling with his tyres at the moment. The last lap time for him was a 46.0. That is the slowest time inside the top 13. And then further down, you only get to drivers who have been in battles, so even that doesn't really count. Look at the way the car's understeering here.
Oh yeah,
he's these corners.
Really bad position.
He is, yeah, really bad. And I don't know, Jonathan Williams might even catch him in the next 6 minutes, to be honest. Have a look at the steering inputs here. He's having to get the car so far over to the left-hand side. Have a look through this next medium-speed left-hander of turn 7 before turn 8. This the car's just not turning in anywhere. Lots of steering lock required. Again, no oversteer at any point, like what you normally see in the Porsche. There you go. Fully turned in and just not going anywhere, especially on the power. Then on the power on the exit has a bit of a slide. This car's not behaving well.
Yeah, it does not, unfortunately. But then again, it hasn't looked like he's behaved well from about lap 3. Let's be real about it. He seems to be dropping positions further and further back as the race went on. Van Rooij has got a very looming Porsche, just put under a second with Hayden Young in behind him.
This is very impressive driving now from Hayden Young, but is he going to run out of time? In towards turn 1. Van Rooij doesn't take the curb on the entry there to turn 1, which is interesting, but Young is going to gain time anyway. Hard to tell which line is actually better. It's just the tyres that are really making the difference for the Porsche, I would say, at this stage in the race. Look at that for Van Rooij there, just having to go wide and just see the better traction there, better speed through the corner there from Young, who now closes up to the back of the Mustang. This is impressive driving now, but traffic could interrupt this battle here in the last 5 minutes.
Yeah, it could do, because we've got back markers in front of them, and there's at least 3 or 4 of them up the road. There they are there. We're going to keep an eye and see how they get on. But I think at the moment we've got Mark Long, who's had his own dramatics. He's gone round a couple of times as marked, so they need to be a bit careful. Cameron Risley in the background, Tyson Panko, JT, Mark Ossier and Jeremy Cheney are all people that they could catch, but they'll have to see how they get on with the racing and see how quickly they can pass the others in front of them.
See, down in towards turn 10, these two. This is one of those corners where the Porsche is likely to gain quite a lot on the new tyres. The traction, sort of why you're still going round the corner at turn 11 there, and towards 12, doing something similar to a lesser degree. And there you go, there's the traction, there's the speed on the exit, but there's the penultimate corner as well. There's going to be no chance for a move there. Now then, in towards the final corner. One of the Porsches just up in front of Ben Roy here. He's still got a decent run, although Young's right in the slipstream here. Now they're going to have to get both of them down in towards turn 1. They're going to have to try and both get through here as the Porsche just holds its line. Ben Roy moves to the inside line. Porsche going to make it easy on the inside line, and there you go. Going to move out the way through turn 1, and Young will close right in, not compromise through turn 1. He gains a tiny bit out of that.
Yeah, he does. He's going to have this one and one more to really contend with here. But I think for Hayden Young, it could be a little bit of an issue. I don't know, Ben Roy, although he's got that big old burly beast, he has quite still got some speed in him. But I do feel Hayden Young's tyre choice and taking tyres has really probably done him better than the others that hasn't. There he goes up the inside of turn number 5, and Hayden Young does go through. So it's going to leave now David Ben Roy to see if he can chase him. I don't know if he's going to be able to.
No, not sure. It's going to be interesting though. It's still close for second place, to be honest. Less than 3 minutes remaining, but again, through corners like this, Young's just going to have more grip. But Ben Roy's done a very good job at the top of the hill there at turn 9. Is there going to be another chance here? I think if he's going to finish second, he's going to have to make a move like this right now, but he's not going to. He looks on the outside line, doesn't go anywhere there. And now then, he's going to close right in here. Well, not really. Hayden Young powers away into second place. And this looks like it's pretty secure. Has Sean Riley got enough time here? 2 laps to go now.
I'm not quite sure whether or not Riley is. They've crossed over the line. Nichols has gone. So, yeah, just one and one more. There'll be another 2 laps to see if Riley can get his way onto the back of David Van Roy. 1.1 seconds at the moment for Van Roy. This is the battle up the front. We've got Dudkowski, Bailey, Pernell Hanley, you've got Cody Bont all in and around each other. But at the moment, it's focusing on these top 3 to see who gets the final podium spot.
Absolutely. It's not long to go in this race now. As more lap traffic plays its role through turn number 3. A little bit wide for another one of the Mustangs. This is towards the very low end of the top 30, by the way. JT Sawyer's not far away from going a lap down to these guys. He already is a lap down to the overall leader, who is Alfie Nichols right now. There is Mark Long, who's just alongside JT Sawyer, actually. Even though those guys don't have classes, they do have the ability to take points away from championship contenders. And there you go, Sawyer goes wide. He drops outside of the top 30. This is not a good afternoon for him. No,
this is the problem these back markers are going to have. They've got Mark Long, but these guys are fighting for position. Young does sweep out the inside, but that's going to put him, if he stays there, that Acura, he's going to put him on the outside for the next turn. If I was Van Roy, I'd be looking at trying to see if I can use something to help me here. Doesn't manage to use that first back marker. Can he use Mark Long? That's going to be the question to be able to help him.
He's going to have to, because that will be the last bit of lap traffic, I think, that they'll have to negotiate in this race, since the white flag's out and it's waving now for Alfie Nichols, who makes his way over the line. One more lap to go for him as he's controlled this race from start to finish. Young is looking secure in second. Is Ben Roy going to finish third? Maybe is the bigger question here, as Sean Riley gets up to the back of that Acura as well. And now he's going to pull past Sawyer on the front straight. The gap is at a second with only a lap to go. He might just run out of time.
Yeah, I think he is going to run out of time. I don't think he's going to quite get there, unfortunately. Van Roy did so well, but I think, again, it's just something almost tyre whispering going on from Hayden Young. He seems to be the only Porsche that's managed to actually make it work. So it's very, very tough on that one for him. But, you know, great action. Ooh, big puff of smoke by somebody out in front. What's going on here? Is it Jeff Sepulveda?
It might be, yeah. Not with Mark Elliott, Chase Argray again. No, Chase Argray's not on the race.
Whoa.
Oh, big contact. Sepulveda. Oh, wow. Sepulveda very nearly got lifted up onto his roof there. A lot of gravel and dust kicked up as a result, but only a little bit of damage, and Sepulveda will get home at 1 lap down in 27th. In fact, he's just been lapped as a result of that little incident there. So Young is caught in behind Mark Long now, who's currently running in 29th in the Acura there. Ben Roy is allowed to catch up as a result, but not sure he's quite going to have enough time. Meanwhile, through the final couple of corners comes Alfie Nichols. It's great to see him back again in the OGRL Coffee Cup, and it is great to see him on top of his game once again. So many race victories throughout the third season in 2024-25. He's taking his first now in this part of the season as well. Flashing his lights, Alfie Nichols wins at Barcelona in comfortable fashion, leading pretty much every lap on the way home, as Young is going to finish in second place despite going wide at the final corner. He just about makes it home in front of Van Roy. Further behind, Jonathan Williams looks like he's going to take a victory in Pro-Am as Bradley Tidwell struggles again. By struggling, I mean not winning. That's he's still on the podium after all, and he's still extending his championship margin over those who matter really in that fight. Through the final corner, a quiet race does the trick for Jonathan Williams, who wins in the Pro-Am class, as just 4 positions behind him. Brett Basil is going to come through the final couple of turns now to win in the Am class. A great result from him here in this season, with Joey Mains chasing him down all the way and gaining big points over his championship rivals. 10 points at least on his rivals, because he's just overtaken Quentin Price for 16th place. In fact, it might be a race to the line in the background there between the two of them. Where is Price at the moment? Through the final corner, he's not got alongside. Mains finishes 16th. He gains 10 on Ollinger, and he gains, goodness me, how many on JT Sawyer here? 15 on JT Sawyer. He's doubled his margin at the front of the championship.
I'm going to see, you are right, but I really want to see what happens here, because Cody Bonte is showing third in AMS, but has disappeared. He's out. So effectively, Heath Ollinger has done more laps than him. So that should actually reverse that. That should be an Ollinger podium.
Should it?
Yeah, he's done. Bonte did 31.03 laps. Ollinger's come round. Why is he going in?
I think he's finished the race. That's why he's finished the race.
Oh,
so that's why he's got more laps. He's credited with more laps because he's carried on after the checkered flag.
Oh, never mind. I must be losing my marbles.
No, it is confusing. To be fair, I think Bont will still be credited with 25th. We will check. Alfie Nichols, meanwhile, wins the race here in the OGRL Coffee Cup round 20, ahead of Hayden Young, who did hold off David Van Roy and Sean Riley in the end. Joshua Herring extends his championship lead with a 5th place finish, extends it by 5 points, with Alan Purser finishing 6th and Richard Wedgstead 7th, who struggled late on. Jonathan Williams wins in Pro-Am ahead of Adam Hansen, with Bradley Lovings rounding out the top 10. Brad Tidwell just outside the 10, with Brett Basil, the Am winner, in 12. Carl Surratt, driver of the day performance in my opinion. 13th place for him. Nearly 30 places gained in the day. Behind him was Billy Backer and Barry Acker. Wow, those two went together for too long.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Joey Mains extends his championship margin, doubles it in fact with a 16th place finish ahead of Quentin Price and Simon Belts, who we didn't mention at all, but finishes nicely in 18th. Wrong button.
Yep, thank you.
19th for Philip De La Cruz. Nobody noticed, it's fine. 19th for Philip De La Cruz. And Brian Dukowski rounds out top 20. Then Preston Hathaway, who was 21st, ahead of William Bailey. Pernod Hanno finished 23rd, ahead of Rick Modric, who was the final driver on the lead lap. Heath Ollinger will be promoted then up to 25th for somebody's... Some crash going on in the background of my results there. Highly distracting. Jeff Sepulveda, meanwhile, finishes in 26th, ahead of Mark Long and Mark Ossier, the two to be confirmed drivers, just inside the top 30 with Jeremy Chaney and JT Sawyer, who will finish 30th in the end in that case. Tyson Pankow finishes in 31st, ahead of Cameron Rizzi, Nick Marshall, Cody Bont, John Gardner and Mike Elliott, all 1 lap down. Scott Carson was 3 down towards the end there, along with Chris Slane, who retired or at least returned to the pit lane earlier on.
Right.
What?
Cody Bont did finish behind Heath Ollinger.
Well, your results are saying that, but the timing isn't. So I don't know what to believe at the moment.
I'm going with them.
Because what would have happened was, well, I'll finish the results and then I'll explain. Chris Lane, as I say, also retired quite late on, came into the pit lane. Chase Argray, George Parfitt, and Jason Iverson retired really quite early on during that race. So what would have happened was Cody Bond, I imagine, started lap number 31 or 32 of this race. Sorry, this was a 32 lap race, as Alfie Nichols will be able to confirm. Cody Bont started lap 32, but I suspect didn't have the fuel to complete it, so ended up coming to a halt at some point around, then towing back to pit lane. So effectively, he's done 31 point something laps, and Heath Ollinger finishing a lap down has done only 31 because he finished behind the race leader, got lapped, and so he couldn't start lap 32, whereas Cody Bont did start lap 32, even though he didn't finish it.
Right. So Bond still finished behind Ollinger.
I don't know. Well, I don't know without seeing what actually happened. And also, sometimes leagues override the results in these special circumstances and say, you need to be docked a lap for not having enough fuel to finish or whatever. So we'll see we'll have to just check the results when we start the broadcast next week, to be honest, because leagues have different rules as to what happens at that stage. And indeed, different result screens are showing me different things at the moment, so we will check for next week. I think is the best port of call for that one. Let's, in the meantime, if anyone's got any answers in the next 15 minutes, then you're more than welcome to give it to us. We will chat to the race winners, and indeed the race winner overall was Alfie Nichols by 13 seconds today. Welcome, Alfie. Good to have you with us. A pretty dominant performance from you, if I could say so. 13, 14 seconds at the end. You looked to be pretty comfortable out there. Was it as comfortable as it looked?
Yeah, I mean, in the beginning, it was just being as smooth as possible to the tyres, just to keep them alive. And I guess other people were struggling with it. I mean, we managed to keep them right up until the last couple of laps when they were starting to give out a little bit on it.
Just how difficult was it in the Ferrari here? You're certainly right. We did see a lot of people struggling on tyres. Was it difficult to not push, if you like, and not destroy the tyres?
I mean, the way I was driving it was just really smooth, just rolling it in, being really smooth on the throttle pedal, and it seems to just be how you drive the Ferrari quick anyway, so it wasn't much different to what I would have been doing anyway. But
and were you not tempted to take tyres at any point because of the wear?
Yeah, I mean, I thought about it at the beginning before the stops, but I was just watching the track temp drop, and the tyres weren't really degrading much on me before the pit, so it's like, I'll save time, won't take tyres, and it's worked out, and really not much wear on them afterwards.
Well, congratulations on taking the win. Is there anyone you'd like to give a shout out to before we let you go?
I think, as always, big shout out to my mum downstairs.
Oh,
Cheers.
hold on. Alf, Mum says you've got to go and do the dishwasher.
Okay. That's my victory chore, I guess.
Yeah, your victory trophy. You get to go and tidy out all the dirty dishes.
Oh, yeah.
Carry on, mate. Sorry, I just thought I'd let you know what Mum says.
No, it's really just big shout out to my mum downstairs cheering on. I know she always likes a little shout out at the end.
Well, there we go. Congratulations on you for the victory, and thanks very much for coming to have a chat with us.
Yeah, cheers, guys.
Thanks very much. Alfie Nichols, the winner of today's race by 13 odd seconds at the end. Hayden Young is not around just yet. I think he said, I think he said in the YouTube chat his mic's broken. So there we go. But we're going to find it very difficult to chat to him in that case, unfortunately. So we'll have to save that for another week. But congratulations to him finishing second, just ahead of David Van Rooyen, we haven't chatted to for a few weeks, but we can now. Welcome in, David. Congratulations on a podium place. Tell us about that battle, though, towards the end there with Hayden Young and Sean Riley catching you up towards the end as well.
Yeah, I was fortunate that the lap traffic kind of got a little bit in the way towards the end, and they kind of separated a couple of us from Hayden at least a little bit. But yeah, I mean, it was I'm a sweaty mess. It's getting hot in here, and I'm in Alabama, and it's going to be like 70 degrees today, and it's just hot, and VR and all that stuff. But yeah, it's great battle. I tried to kind of hang on with Sean for a little bit, but he was just taking almost a half second out of lap, and I just could not get the car to slow down in the hairpin. I just couldn't get it to rotate. And I probably should have taken a couple of tires, but I didn't, and that was the end result.
You mentioned it's hot in real life today. It was quite very hot in qualifying and at the start of the race here in the sim as well. Again, that's the same question to Alfie. Were you not tempted to take tyres before the pit stop? I know you sort of said there you wish you had them, but were you not tempted at the time?
Yeah, at the time, I kind of figured that, I kind of thought I had a little bit enough of a gap, to be honest with you, that I would be able to hold them off. And so I just elected to say, I'm not going to take any tires. And then, basically be able to hang on after that. Didn't quite work out. And then I found out that Sean took 2 tires. So maybe there's a strategy in it that way. But yeah, I thought about it for a second. And then I was like, no, we're just going to push on and see what happens.
All right, well, congratulations on getting that podium in the end. Is there anyone you'd like to give a shout out to before we let you go?
Hey, first time I had a chance to talk since Kenny Bourgeois kind of created my livery on my car. So special thanks to him. He does some fantastic work with that. Thanks to my wife for continuing to support me in my career with this, if that's what we want to call it. And everybody have a great day and watch the Super Bowl. It's going to be awesome.
I'm looking forward to it as well, even if it's going to be a late night. But there we go.
Thanks, you guys.
Yeah, and thanks very much for chatting to us. We'll see you next week, hopefully.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
David Van Roy there in third place here this afternoon in the Ford Mustang. Finished just ahead of Sean Riley. We don't normally get to chat to fourth place, but Riley was up there with the others, so we'll chat to him too. Welcome in, Sean. Good to have you with us. I want to go back to the very start, actually, for you, because you made a fantastic run on the front straight there.
There was a big pucker factor. We got the green flag, and I think whatever car was right in front of me got caught off guard just a bit, and we were rolling up to the line, and I'm like, we're almost on top of the start finish. Like, when's the green gonna drop? And I got a good jump, and I stuck my nose up in the middle lane, and I felt like my mirrors had about 2 inches of clearance on both sides. At least that's what it felt like. But it was pretty exciting.
It was quite an image watching you steam through the middle, but eventually you end up just off the podium in the end. Are you disappointed to be in fourth place, or still pleased to have been up there with David and Hayden there battling right the way to the very end as you were?
No, I think I ended up probably where I belonged. It was unfortunate that I got spun around with Young. It certainly was not intentional. It was just some light contact at the wrong spot in the corner, and we both went around, or at least I did, and then he waited for me to get going. But he was faster than I was. We're in previous seasons, we're so used to early morning races. I think the local time was 1 o'clock or noon, and the track was just so much hotter. I tried making a couple setup changes to spare the tires, but pretty quickly into the first stint, I felt like I just drove the tires off. And I think I ended up, I'm pretty happy with how the race worked out.
I can imagine that the spin didn't help in terms of the tire heating.
No, that's a good point too. Yeah, I probably should have. I did when I pitted. I did do driver's side tires just because that track is so hard on the left too. But I probably could have done that a little bit sooner now that I think about it.
Yeah, we wondered at the time why you didn't come in straight away after the spin, because it happened about a corner before pit entry. I thought, well, your tires are going to be burning alive anyway after the spin, so I thought you were going to come in, but you waited another lap. But whether it made any difference or not in the end, I'm not entirely sure. But there we go. Is there anyone you'd like to give a shout out to before we let you go?
Well, I know my wife was watching, and always appreciate her encouragement. So I'm always grateful for her supporting this hobby. And you guys, of course, as soon as the race is over, I always love to go plop on the couch and watch the race all over again. And you guys make it really exciting to watch. So thank you all for getting up with us in the morning.
Thanks.
Or you're in the afternoon. I guess for y'all. Either way, thanks for doing this.
Yeah, it's a nice afternoon for us. But there we go. No, thanks very much for coming to have a chat with us again. And we'll see you next week.
Hope so, yeah.
Thanks very much. Sean Riley, fourth place here today at Barcelona. Further down in eighth place overall was Jonathan Williams, who's taken the Pro-Am win here at Barcelona today. Welcome, Jonathan. Good to have you with us. And congratulations on the Pro-Am win. I must admit, we didn't see an awful lot of you today, and that's probably a good thing on one side, because it means you weren't getting caught up in incidents that some of the others were and so on. But it does mean that we don't know an awful lot about your race so far. But so just fill us in a little bit. Tell us about the race.
I was pretty clean. Me and Alan raced together for a good long time until towards the end I just completely lost pace. But yeah, it was like practice laps. Everybody around me kind of like it.
What was the drop off at the end down to? Was it tyres that everyone else was struggling with as well?
Yeah, it was tires. I mean, naturally, I'm horrible at like overdriving corners already, and then you go on that track, and yeah, I wore them straight out.
Yeah, very difficult circuit. What were you expecting from this circuit when you saw it on the calendar? I know there are plenty of people who like and don't like this circuit.
Well, I actually like it. My PC doesn't like it. My VR like struggles on this, and during a lot of practices, it was freezing up. So qualifying 8th, I thought for sure I was going to kill myself and everybody else on the start. Fortunately, it didn't happen.
Unfortunately, and it turned out very well with the prime win. Is there anyone you'd like to give a shout out to before I let you go?
As always, everybody at OGRL, Alan and Simon, I practice them on a regular, and they help me get better.
All right, thanks very much for coming to have a chat with us, Jonathan. Congratulations on the prime win.
Thank you. Take it easy.
Thanks very much. Jonathan Williams there in the Pro-Am top step today. Brett Bazzo wins in the AMs, finishing 12th overall, but more importantly, top step as far as the AMs are concerned. Brett, congratulations on the win, and thanks for coming to chat to us as well. 12th place overall as well. Very good result in the overall standings of the race as well. Just tell us how surprised or not you are about this. Are you confident around this circuit? What did it come down to today?
Yeah, I'm pretty surprised at the 12th overall, but going into qualifying, it seemed like comparing to other people's lap times, I was holding the steady P1, fighting for the top step, and then right after qualifying, stayed there. Yeah, just held it the whole race, and it went well, and tried to stay as consistent as possible with all the other racers, and yeah, just a smooth race overall.
How has the season been for you so far? We haven't had many chances to chat to you, but a win this time round at Barcelona, not in the top 5 in the series standings, which is why I bring it up, and we haven't been able to chat to you as much. But how has the season been? How have you found it?
Yeah, pretty new to the OGRL series. It's been great. Last race got a P2 finish, and getting a P1 finish here is pretty great. Hoping to keep that up throughout the rest of the season and finish it out strong.
All right, we look forward to it. Is there anyone you'd like to give a shout out to before we let you go?
Yeah, shout out to Cody Bont. He was doing great being a spotter. He's a few positions back, just giving heads up on what was going on behind me. So yeah, thank you. Appreciate it.
Thanks very much for chatting to us. Congratulations on the win.
Have a good one, guys. Thank you.
Cheers, Brett Bazzo there in first place in the AMs today. Well, that's about it for the interviews and the racing here at Barcelona. I suspect, James, that went just about as you expected it to. Good racing, especially towards the end, actually, for second place. Hayden Young, Devon Wright, Sean Riley putting on a show late on, but classic Barcelona racing, really, once things settled down a little bit through the middle part of that race.
In other words, what you're trying to say is once we got past the beginning, nothing really happened.
Oh, that's slightly unfair, I would have said.
No, I think this is the thing. You know, I think there was a lot of racing all the way through, and there was still positions all up for grabs all the way through, and there was nice little battles going on. I really cannot. I can't explain it, Ewan, about Barcelona. It's the Spanish circuit thing, I think, is the problem. I don't know. I just can't. I can't grasp it with the racing. It doesn't. When I see Catalunya on a calendar, I instantly just think, ugh. You know what I mean? Like you with Sebring.
Yeah, I get it. Everyone has those circuits, but yeah, racing was decent, especially late on towards the end. But I'm sure there will be a few drivers as well. They were looking forward to a new challenge at Road America next week. I have a feeling that is probably a more universally popular circuit than Barcelona, to be honest with you, especially among a league of predominantly North Americans. I'd imagine that there's plenty of people looking forward to going to Road America in 7 days' time. So we look forward to that. Myself and James will be back same time, same place here on the JP YouTube channel for that race. Make sure you subscribe and check out all the other racing that goes on between now and then. For now, though, for myself in Leary, James Parfitt alongside me, it's goodbye from Barcelona. We'll see you in Road America in 7 days' time. Goodbye for now.